do they know the outcome of what they're doing?
Well, nobody knows the outcome of what they're doing. The U.S. has been living far beyond its means for too many years. We have to accept that reality.
Cyprus banks are going to open today. No, they aren't. Yes, they are. No, they're not. Are they?
For the rest of the world, the headline is this: confiscation of private bank accounts is now an official tool of the Eurozone authorities. The deal effectively destroys the island's status as an offshore banking center.
But let's be honest. At this moment, we cannot say exactly what is going to be the impact.
From now on, no bank account anywhere in the Eurozone is safe. That cannot be reassuring.
Either we have to cut back on government spending, or the dollar is going to collapse. Go
on if you want, burying your heads in the sand. You can ignore the markets if you want to, but in time, the markets will not ignore you.
The Federal Reserve continues to print money like it's going out of style. Why? Because it is going out of style.
Dollars in deposits. $10.8 trillion deposited in American banks. Do you know how big the deposit insurance fund is? Just $33 billion.
It will happen one day, big time, and then we will all be lucky if we still have 50% of the asset values that we have today.
So when we left the gold standard, you were able to see the explosion of debt. Okay.
I think bank depositors, including depositors here in the United States, have to be concerned about the value of their deposits. It's going to happen when the Fed finally takes the punch bowl away and lets interest rates go up. And it's not only the banks. The U.S. government can't pay interest on the debt when the rates go up.
The elites do not want to crash the economy because up until this point, the economy has worked very well for them. It's a giant machine to extract wealth from ordinary people and put it in their pocket. They don't want to crash it. The problem is they can't stop it from crashing. It must crash. It's a Ponzi scheme. It has to crash. You cannot put a bunch of paper money into an economy and take out more money than you put in. It just doesn't work, and that's what makes it a pyramid scheme. That's why they talk about growing the economy, growing the debt, finding more borrowers, and when you run out of borrowers, the system comes crashing down. They can't stop it.
It is a huge deal because it's not going to stop in Cyprus. And if you think for 1 second that it does not affect the economy in your world, be it the United States, Canada, Mexico, you better wake up and realize the web of debt is global. When JP Morgan alone has more derivative exposure than the entire global GDP, understand this. If Europe goes down, the world goes down.
Cyprus,
if Europe is,
like all of the other nations in the world, are bankrupt. Okay? What are they doing? They're fueling the problem with more debt that they couldn't pay back in the first place. It's the same story over and over again. It's fueling the bubble in debt. It's going to burst.
So what you're saying is the money in the Cypriot banking system isn't from Cyprus?
Well, there isn't any money in the Cypriot banking system, Brian. That's the central problem we're dealing with.
A great transformation is upon us. America is no longer sovereign. We no longer make our own decisions and policy.
Let me be clear when I say thieves. I refer directly to the current private central bank and the men in government who allow it to exist.
We live in some kind of bankocracy here and in Western Europe. The banks are driving the rest of the economy, the rest of the people, into the ground. We need something different, terrible that Merkel is doing what she's doing in Germany, terrible what Obama is doing in this country. They might as well just be employees of the bank.
I actually think we're in a depression, and I think the depression is interrupted briefly by the phony expansion that we get from the stimulus. But all we're doing is spending more borrowed money. So we're not stimulating the economy. We're stimulating all the problems in the economy, and we're making them worse.
The bankers are taking direct control of the citizens' spending habits to protect. What this means is, having torn down the international borders to help the money junkies get rich, now they want to put those borders back in to protect the money junkies from the people whose wealth they looted. Tells you which side the government is on in this particular case. Anybody listening to this show, to show me one nation with a private central bank issuing the public currency as a loan at interest, in which the real wealth of that nation is not being sucked out of the general population and put in the pocket of the bankers.
In the United States, the situation is much more grave than that. And I've urged all of you out there countless times to get your cash out of these institutions.
Invest in the Eurozone. do not invest anywhere in the Eurozone. You've got to be mad to do so because it's now run by...
Just as we woke up one day and the world, and especially the Soviets, gave up on the Soviet Union because the system we have, the monetary system we have, and the economic system is not viable. It can't work, and you can't solve the problem of debt with more debt. And when that particular day comes, I don't think anybody knows the exact day, but we're certainly getting very close to it.